Divorce attorney, marriage counselor. Am I a marriage counselor? Not really, but I promise you, every dinner party, every social event, every school event for my kids, people ask me, Tanya, why do people get divorced? And I go, oh, that's a fascinating question. What do I see? Infidelity, financial issues, and they were never well suited for each other to begin with, and they were forcing that square peg into the round hole. And I say, hark back to when you were dating. Were you super happy? Sort of. And did this bother you and that bother you? Yes, but you got married nonetheless. And now you're in my office saying, I can't stand my spouse, get me out. That's why people get divorced. Some of the more subtle reasons that people land in my office getting divorced: emotional affairs, and this transcends gender. So there's that coworker, there's that person in the gym, there's the person in their Pilates class that your spouse forms a relationship with because there was something emotionally lacking in the marriage, and now your spouse turned to this other person to fill that gap. So emotional affairs are a real thing. They're as hurtful as physical affairs, and it often lands people in my office. Alternatives to divorce. You might say, wait a second, but don't you make a living divorcing people? Yes and no. I talk to multiple people a day, and oftentimes I say to someone, are you really ready? I can't tell you when you're ready to file for divorce. Only you know. Oftentimes a trial separation. Marriage counseling, of course. But it's sitting, and I make it this simple. I'll tell people, sit down in your favorite coffee shop. I won't name names about my favorite. Take a piece of paper, fold it in half. What are all the reasons you got married? What are all the reasons you want out of the marriage? And start weighing those two sides of the paper. Why stay married? Why go our separate ways? What does it all mean? And can we fix those things? I have absolutely turned people away and said, you're just not ready yet. Many people fail to consider the financial impact of a divorce, not just on them, but also their children. We have one household, often with two incomes, and now we're going to have two households with one income in each. The children's standard of living, unless you're really high wage earners, is going to change. Your standard of living, again, unless you're extreme wage earners, two become one. Your lifestyle is going to change. How you vacation may change. And you're now dividing assets. And, jokingly, many people say it's cheaper to stay together, but dividing assets, you're dividing stock, you're dividing your retirement accounts, and you start dividing retirement accounts in your mid-50s or so, it's not that easy to recover. So where you thought you had smooth sailing into retirement years, suddenly you've now divided the retirement assets in half, and you may very well need to work longer to live the retirement life that you anticipated. The emotional toll of divorce, not just on the couple divorcing, but the children, is a cost that everybody should weigh when they embark upon this process. Divorce is difficult. It is to some extent a transaction when you're thinking about the money, but when you wrap in custody and parenting time, one parent may feel that I did everything to raise the children, and now the spouse that wasn't really helping suddenly wants the children 50% of the time, and the children become this tug of war. The children feel like they're in the middle, the parents are at odds, and I remind them, one day this child that you love is going to graduate high school, they're going to go off to college, they're going to get married, and like it or not, the two of you should be together for those magic moments in your child's life. And so if you destroy each other in the divorce, it's going to make those moments in the future that much harder. Post-divorce, what do I see? My clients get divorced, or they weren't my client. They're divorced, several years have gone by, and they have a legal challenge and they come back to me. And what do I see? I see people struggling with settling into this new custody structure and the dreaded, my spouse has a new person, a new significant other in their life. That becomes a game changer in many cases. Now the children are introduced to someone new. Maybe that person has children, and now we have these blended families. And there are many bumps in the road that people don't anticipate that come up when the children now have a step parent and maybe additional, step siblings, or a child now of the parent's new relationship, and the blended family becomes a stumbling block for many families. There are so many things to consider before you embark upon the journey towards divorce. I'm here to answer all of those questions, and questions maybe you haven't even thought of yet. So give my office a call.